We always hear about optional missions, side stories that we can choose to avoid if we wish to, but explore if we want a better understanding of the world, and maybe just some sick loot. And of course, where there are optional missions, there are plenty of opt-in mechanics. Designers include various abilities, classes, weapons for us to choose how we go about conquering challenges. But what I find exceptionally rare is opt-in gameplay, when a designer takes a side mission and a mechanic and puts them together to form an optional experience. Unlike the optional missions and mechanics, this experience usually differs a great deal from the rest of the game. That's the reason why the designers make it optional. They don't want to lock you into a different experience, merely offer something that they think you'll find new or exciting. It can be a complete shift in genre, pace, really any large aspect of the game. The fact that it's optional affords designers the freedom they don't necessarily have in a standard classification shift. Those are your unskippable stealth sections, water levels that can end up frustrating players. We did a whole video covering those not too long ago. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to watch that. And with the afforded freedom, the designer is really free to run wild with something new. They don't have to be afraid of alienating their specific player base or dropping down Metascore on Metacritic because of a dynamic shift for an entire experience. Gwent from Witcher 3 is a fantastic example of an opt-in gameplay shift. Gwent is a tactical card game inside of an action hack-and-slash RPG. As the player is exploring the world, hunting monsters, and completing various quests as Geralt of Rivia, they can choose to play the game with various non-player characters to obtain new cards, build up their collection, and face stronger opponents, often in his friends and allies. Although it's possible to earn rewards like additional money on bets or tournaments as the player progresses, it is completely optional for progressing through any part of the game. I know players who largely do not like tactical card games and completely skipped it, and you know what? They never complained about it, because it never came up in a meaningful way. Just a few possible dialogue options, always opting in, never forcing them in. And all the while, the gamers who liked this kind of gameplay style, myself included, within an RPG, listed Gwent in their list of top gameplay in the game. I even had a friend claim it was the best part of Witcher 3, giving him a flourish of nostalgia to his days playing Yu-Gi-Oh! The Sacred Cards on his Game Boy Advance. And of course, Gwent became its own standalone product, in fact, maybe even a standalone series depending on if you count Thronebreaker, which I of course do. So in addition, this kind of opt-in gameplay can serve as a testing ground for exploring additional ways to share your universe in different mediums. Seeing if there is a transferable player base from Witcher RPG to Witcher tactical card game, for instance, without alienating your players in any way. Extremely powerful for designers to kind of test the water for additional genres. And it doesn't necessarily have to be its own genre. Sometimes it can just be included as an interesting feature to expand the gameplay length or promote other game systems. Fallout 4 includes an entirely optional settlement building, which is used mostly as a way to promote gathering of resources in the various areas of the wasteland. It allows them to populate regions of their game with meaningful scrap and other materials, and helps bring to life the environment and make it true to the aesthetic. And in doing so, it kind of serves as a minigame in which you're managing the happiness and safety of your settlers as you grow and develop your own base of operations. Now myself, I didn't enjoy this gameplay too much, so I only ever really dabbled in it, but a lot of people really enjoyed the Minecraft-esque building. Due to the fact it was completely optional, there was no harm, no foul on the part of the designers to include it. It was able to serve its purpose and appeal to a section of Fallout's audience, and keeping in theme, might have just sowed the seeds for Fallout Shelter, the game that followed. Now let's say you want to add optional gameplay without changing the formula. No card game in your action adventure, or base building in your RPG. Look no further than the LEGO series. We have not brought up this series on the channel, but I would be remiss if I didn't include what the LEGO series calls free roam in this video of opt-in gameplay. You can play all of the LEGO games and have a rich, true to canon experience in your favorite franchise. And that's a lot of fun. Be it Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, or Harry Potter, you can play as the characters in the situations and stories they find themselves in with a little bit of creative liberty and some interesting mechanics. But if you truly end up enjoying the game, you can come back and explore additional gameplay in this free roam mode, where the characters you play in a mission aren't limited. You can come back and assemble your own team of characters that you've either unlocked or purchased to access parts of a mission you weren't able to before, find Easter eggs, unlock additional characters, or fully collect various collectibles. If you wondered what it would be like to play out the entire first Star Wars movie as CIS battle droids, you can do it. Still a rich gameplay experience with the option to choose your own gameplay richness once you've completed a level legitimately. Because this entire section of gameplay is entirely opt-in, this allows the designers to take creative liberties they might not have otherwise, restricting you to how the level was designed the first time, and then allowing their players to create teams to overcome them in some unique ways, rewarding them for their understanding of the level design of previously played missions. Having these large sections of free roam in the levels can obviously be risky. Sometimes players might feel a little alienated that they can't unlock all the collectibles the first playthrough of a mission, like we're so often used to doing in games that we play. But it can also be rewarding. You see that you need to be a Sith to open this door. Well, I guess I'll replay and I'll come back with a Sith. Various little interesting pickups like that can really make for a compelling opt-in gameplay experience. Now, all of these games share a similar philosophy in opt-in gameplay. Although they vary in strategy and purpose, one thing stays consistent, and it's very important that it does. They are optional. Players who find themselves allured by something new will run with it, and those that don't still have an amazing experience in front of them with the ability to skip over something that might just not interest them. And I think as designers, when we want to take creative approaches to establish genres or elements of them, it truly can be most effective delivery to develop these opt-in gameplay systems, so as not to alienate those who came for the gameplay we promised or showcased to them. Don't be afraid to explore creative approaches to design, and I think opt-in gameplay really will afford you that liberty. I hope you guys enjoyed this week's game design talk on opt-in gameplay. Now, designers showcase new things safely in their genres. If game design is a topic that interests you, you should consider subscribing. We have new videos coming out all of the time. Leave a comment below talking about an opt-in gameplay experience you enjoyed that you wouldn't have experienced otherwise. I'd love to hear about it. A huge shout out to the amazing patrons over on Patreon that support what we do on the channel. You guys rock. Until next time, this was Can't Resist Trith. Keep designing, my friends. Never lose your passion, and I will catch you guys in the next game design talk video. Bye, guys.